Hello, so we're here with Emily Godley. Hello.
Hello.
So I came down to Europa today to train and to interview Emily, as well as because Brunel's closed, I have to find a place to train. What better place than here with 50 Eleiko bars. So how's everything going for you, Emily? You're kind of post-British Championships?
Yeah, so I'm still training at the moment. I'm reserved for Rio, so still have to keep in shape. Then once the athletes fly out to Rio, the team that's been picked, Sunny Webster and Rebecca Tyler, I'm planning to have a little bit of downtime, and then hopefully I'll compete towards the end of the year and basically get back into my training and work towards that really, and hopefully get a medal at the Commonwealth Championships.
When are they?
End of October, sorry. Yeah.
Aren't they in a faraway place?
Malaysia,
yeah.
Nice trip.
Wasn't that the same place Ivor got his kind of gangrene shin? Wasn't it?
Possibly.
When he went to Malaysia and didn't clean it?
Yes, I think so. Hopefully if he goes, we'll have a better trip this time.
Yeah, take their antiseptics.
Yeah,
right, that'd be good.
Take it.
Now, everyone says the Commonwealth Championships are usually good fun. I don't know if that's your experience as well.
I haven't actually done a Commonwealth Championships. I've done Commonwealth Games, which is like all the sports, stay in a village competition, but I haven't actually done the individual championships of weightlifting. So it will be a new experience for me in my 8 years of lifting.
No, I was considering how long you've been lifting. It's surprised you haven't done it.
I haven't ever been picked for it, to be honest.
At least you've gone to the bigger stuff.
Yeah, no, I can't complain, and it would be a nice experience to go there for the first time and have a good competition. I'm sure the level would be quite good as well. What with Australia and Canada and India, those kind of countries. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I've seen the Commonwealth rankings have gone a lot higher, haven't they, since 2014? That's what I've been told, at least in the men's side. Yeah,
I haven't actually looked at any recent ones.
Yeah.
But I know they went up from like 2010, so jumped up to 2014. I imagine now they're even higher.
Yeah, the men's, the way they're working out the England's squad for the Commonwealths, they're going off the rankings of the Commonwealth, the Commonwealth rankings. But say if you've got two Indian lifters at 77, they only take one. Of that, and they rank you. So
one
I think
per country.
Yeah, so they were talking about being in the top 10 as like the first stage to be. And I think for 77 it was like 310 or something.
Wow.
Yeah, so
high standard. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to see, really. Like the Commonwealth has notoriously been a bit lower standard compared to like the rest of the world. So it's good to.
But if you look at you guys, if you look at like what you performed at the Europeans, you're clearly up there with some of the best in the world. So I think it's right that at least the Commonwealth is getting more competitive, but hopefully like more clean lifters and everything like that.
Definitely more clean lifters and just getting the experience on an international level, or international stage. You can't. It's invaluable. It's so different from a domestic competition that the more, even like after how long I've been lifting, just getting that experience and that feeling of competing abroad is so helpful for major competitions coming up in a few years. So.
Yeah. So you did what was your first international? Was it the 2010s?
2010 Commonwealth Games. I was kind of like a surprise qualifier for that. First international, had a bit of a shocker. Got really, really ill out in Delhi.
I heard a lot of people did.
Yeah, I was 2 kilos under the body weight class the day before my comp.
What were you then?
I was 61 kilos.
61?
Yeah.
Oh, so you've stayed pretty consistent for the next weight class wise, right? Obviously, I assume you started cutting in the past year or so because the 69s was a move.
The dieting for 63s was becoming harder and harder.
Yeah.
And we get our skin folds tested up in Loughborough when we have training camps, and my body fat was coming down, muscle mass was going up, and it was just becoming a bit of a struggle. Europeans this year wasn't a good competition for me, to be honest. I didn't lift very well. The diet was really hard this time, and I came away from that and I thought, do you know what, I've got to think about moving up now. And Sean, our sport scientist, said, you're actually at the tallest end for a 69 lifter. So it's actually makes sense for you to start thinking about moving up anyway and just gain a bit more muscle, get a bit stronger.
Yeah.
So here I am weighing a nice and healthy 70 kilos.
Nice. Well, you lifted well at the British anyway. I mean, you look like you're in the right weight class, and I mean, you can't argue if your clean and jerk goes up like it did. It looked quite light, really. Yeah,
no, it was good. It was good to finally feel a bit competitive at a higher weight class. But I definitely think there's more gains to be made, so to speak. So I think give me a year or two at 69s, I think, you know, it could be even better. So obviously when you move up you have to get that much stronger as well, so I will be training hard, but it'd be nice not to have such a big diet before a competition.
Yeah, I mean I got 77 at the moment, but I struggle anyway, and it makes me feel sick. But 85 is too much of a big jump, and like you said, it takes like a year or 2 years to even fill out your category.
Yeah, definitely.
But I mean, it's not, like I said, it didn't look like any of the lifts were hard. So you snatched 94.
Yeah,
but your best is 95?
No, 94 is my best.
Oh, 94 is your best?
Yeah, PB.
Oh, good.
94 snatch and 120 clean and jerk, which was a bit of a milestone.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Really pleased to get that.
And the 2 reds with the women's bar, isn't it?
Yeah. 2 reds. I was really chuffed. Just need to try and push it up a bit more, to be honest.
Yeah.
More squats.
I think the 69s is a scary category for women. I think, like, you look at what the worlds are doing and stuff.
Yeah, it's a different level, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Can't try and hold on to 63 any longer. Like, when weightlifters don't usually start and finish in the same weight class, really.
Yeah.
Although I did start weightlifting a bit later on, 18, 19. So. But yeah, it was inevitable, really. My first coach, Keith Morgan, he suggested I should move up, like a good few years ago. But me being stubborn, wanting to be competitive at 63s, and it is the most competitive class in Britain as well.
Yeah.
Wanted to stay in that weight category, and I did quite well as a 63 lifter. But yeah, the time's now right to move up and lift at 69.
So how did you start, and kind of how did you end up getting where you are now?
So I started off as a pole vaulter, and I did some weightlifting as my strength and conditioning, and I did that at Crystal Palace with Keith Morgan. So it was just kind of like power cleans, power snatch, squats, things like that. And Keith said to me, you know, that I was quite good. He said, "Oh, you're quite good at this. Have you ever thought about doing weightlifting as a sport?"
How good were you at pole vaulting?
Reasonable. I represented England as a junior team member.
That's good.
Once, but I was never going to be Olympic champion. No. And I was always the short and light, stocky one for pole vault.
Yeah, they're usually quite slendery, lanky kind of guys,
long
right?
levers, yeah. And so when Keith suggested that I change sports, I was quite adamant that I didn't want to change sports. And he did suggest it quite a few times. But then one time he needed a team member for Bromley for the London Youth Games. And
it's a classic way people get people into weightlifting.
It is. And
because no one does it.
No.
No one did it back then.
Exactly. But I stepped up to it and said I'd do it for the team and get some points. And I remember I was really ill that day. I think I had food poisoning or a bug or something. But I still went and did it, and I got 6 out of 6, and I did 47 kilo snatch and 66 kilo clean and jerk.
That's pretty good for the youth games. Did you win anything?
I was 18 though. I think I was 18. Right at the top end of the age brackets. I think I got a gold for that. Can't remember. But I remember I came off the platform when I was feeling really rough, and Keith grabbed me and he said to me, "Look, you could go to the Commonwealth Games, you could." And I looked at him and I kind of smirked, like, okay, alright.
Yeah.
And then, like, 2 years later, or however long it was, there I was in Delhi. So, you know,
he was right.
Yeah, he was right. And yeah, never looked back. Changed sports, and now I've got to travel the world and compete in various competitions. I think I've done 3 or 4 European Championships, 3 World Championships, and 2 Commonwealth Games. So
it's a pretty good CV.
Yeah, no, it's been really good fun, and I'm grateful that, you know, I did get the chance to change sports in the end.
Yeah. I mean, as I was saying to you earlier, like the first time I think I met you, from my vague memory of when I was getting taught by Keith with a broomstick, it was just, I swear he asked you then that, you know, you should switch sports, which is just funny how that even sticks out in my head. So he must have been drilling it into you every day. But what's good to see is, like, when you started, weightlifting was dead. So if you were a woman and you were all right, you generally went pretty high. But you've actually, you know, shown that you're not lifting weights that are a joke at all. You know, you're actually lifting weights that would win medals. At least when I started in the male categories in like the 77s, you know, it's pretty damn good to see the development, I think, and that, you know, you almost led the way for the females. I think, you know, if you think when Sarah started, you were up there, and then you kind of led this chase.
Yeah,
and,
it's been really good. I think that, along with the world-class programme that we've got in place with British weightlifting, it's kind of pushed all us female lifters up a whole new level. And it's definitely been competitive between me, Sarah, Zoe and Rebecca. We've all kind of shared the 63 69 kilo category a bit, and definitely when Sarah kind of really made a massive improvement, it gave me a bit of a kick up the bum. And I think that pushed her even more. So it's kind of, we've all just kind of pushed up, and are now actually getting medals on a European level and pushing top 10 in the world now, and it's really good to see, and it's really encouraging. Me personally, I don't feel I've yet really achieved what I'm capable of, but, you know, I'm probably one of those slow and steady people, and hopefully over the next couple of years I'll start getting a few medals myself. But yeah, it's a great environment in British weightlifting at the moment, and I think the British Championships just gone kind of showed that, and the men, you know, without any funding, producing some great results as well. So
yeah, I mean, the strength and depth it's always going to be a bit scarce, I feel, in the UK, and when you can get, you know, like you said, with the 63s and 69s, that kind of 3 or 4 of you just always battling each other, like we had with Ivor and Owen, I should say, and Sonny, you know, made the 94s just crazy. But then, you know, now Jack's gone in the 77s. It's like there's not many in any other category in the UK. Apart the 85s is very packed out.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's always a case of, you know, just part of me likes having loads of competition, and then the other part's nice when you win each time you go or something like that. But I think the more we can get to a point where you know, we've got that kind of packed out in each category, I think we'll be in a position where we can send full teams of the top 10 in the Europe and things like that, which is hard because, you know, even big countries like China seem to struggle. But I mean, I think with your, like you're saying, with the slow and steady, you look at Andrew Rugg from my team, Brunel. You know, he's 30 now and he's still improving. So I can't see why you wouldn't, if you just pick away for the next few years, why you wouldn't be, you know, hopefully, as much as you said you were 30 for 2020, you know, you pick away. You can't, it's always a game of who's not going to be injured by that time, if you perform on the day, and I think you're pretty damn consistent. So
I am, but it could be better, especially at international competitions. But that's what I was saying before, like just the more experience of training and competing abroad, the better it is, you know, for the major events and the ones where you actually want to produce the goods, and perform to the best you can and get personal bests. So yeah, that's the aim really, and I think things like CrossFit really helping the sport. Since CrossFit's come about, you know, there's more weightlifters, there's more talent, and the number of people just participating in weightlifting has gone through the roof.
Yeah. There's loads of these kind of freak athlete females coming through as well, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so many women that haven't really either stopped sport in their teenage years, then come in to CrossFit, and they're just so strong or so like athletic, and it's almost like it's sad that they've started like 2 years, not so much too late, but 2 years where they could have maybe got the foundations a bit earlier.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, there'll be girls, like a few girls snatching 100 hopefully in a few years.
Yeah, that would be really good to see. I don't see why it wouldn't happen, to be honest. The progress we've made, particularly over the last 2-3 years, I think is a very good sign, and I think the future is very bright for weightlifting.
Rather than your partner's time, Mr. Joe Muskett. Hi, Joe.
Right.
So I don't know if you want to say anything about Joe's history. If you know, when did he start lifting? 2005, yes.
Old school.
How many people in British weightlifting back then? About 10?
Probably that. That's probably an overestimation. I think it was just me and Andy.
Yeah, just you and Andy Callard.
The famous Andy Callard.
Well, Joe's making his way over. Hopefully he'll be be close enough now. So when did you? Why did you start such a weird sport? I mean, it wasn't cool back then, so why?
Nah, well, because I'm a bit of a hipster and no one else done it.
Oh, really?
But all jokes aside,
and you're a big guy.
Yeah, all jokes aside, my granddad used to do Olympic weightlifting. He used to compete for the Metropolitan Police Force when they used to have a Olympic weightlifting team. And he used to train with Keith Morgan.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Keith used to say about that competition.
Yeah. And
Keith basically gets everyone started.
Yeah.
Anyone that wants to start weightlifting should just go and see Keith.
I started with Keith. Everybody started.
Well, no, it wasn't Keith who got my granddad started. My granddad used to do a thing called strength set.
Yeah. That's a
bench
curl,
press,
isn't it?
curls, and all that. But yeah, I got sick and tired of rugby when I was 15 or 16, and granddad saw a news shopper article with Andy, a photo of Andy in it, who had started off down a gym that was just down the road from Dartford.
Yeah.
And he phoned him up and said, "Can you coach my grandson?" And that was it. I just turned up down there and started training.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So you had that connection to the old school guys, basically, through your granddad.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. Because like very rarely people back then got into it. You know, like now people get in just by watching YouTube or doing CrossFit or something.
Yeah, on a valuable weightlifting network for my granddad already.
Which just shows, like it. You know, like my coach Mike Pearman. You know, he was black and white days. I got introduced to him via someone who was just learning at Brunel, and I went to see a competition. But I mean, we only found Palace because of one of the dodgy forums on the internet where someone said you could try Olympic weightlifting there.
Yeah.
But I mean, it just you didn't. There was no like website that told you how to get there.
No.
You know, Crystal Palace Gym is like a maze to get to if you don't know.
Yeah, and the funny thing is about what you're saying is that you sound like you're talking about 15, 20 years ago, and you're not. You're talking 4 or 5 years ago.
I know.
And so the rate of development has been incredible, isn't it, over the last few years?
So many people come from different sports though. Like hardly anyone wakes up and goes like one day just thinks, "Oh, I want to give Olympic weightlifting a go." Like lots of the international lifters all come from different sports, either gymnastics, athletics, just like various sports really. Like just got that background in sport and then just changed over. Diving, that's another one.
It's not a sport that's out there as a first choice, is it? It's a sport that's out there as either a list of exercises that can support what was considered a main sport, or
you were too uncoordinated to do this one, but you would look really strong.
Yeah.
So you might as well go do weightlifting.
Nailed it.
But I think it's starting to change now, very slowly.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, I think you need the incentive to switch sport. You know, that's what they say in the US. The issue is that you got the freak athletes doing American football, where the money is, and then, you know, why would you do weightlifting unless you were truly in love with it? Which hopefully, you know, guys who do obviously are. But, you know, if you want to get the super freaks, you need to have something that can compete, I suppose, at least support wise. You know, like we're saying here about males with no funding. I mean, why would you stick with a sport if you could make it another sport? But I mean, I don't know, I love weightlifting because of its simplicity. It's just snatch cleans, yeah. And you can rate how good you are out of the bag.
That's it.
Very measurable, isn't it?
Yeah. I did parkour before. I mean, there's no competition. There's no real end goal apart from what you set. So why would you? You know, I wanted to do something I could say, I've done this. Yeah. You know, but I don't know how you guys did it back then. At least when I started, it was kind of becoming, you know, S&C was growing. People were realising, okay, Olympic weightlifters had the biggest jump, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
I just carried on with it because I like feeling strong. There's no other reason. That's it.
It's cool. That's what I love about it.
You know, it doesn't matter if there's any money involved. It's just the whole fact that you just love feeling strong and you love the challenge. The main thing about it is it's not a team sport, is it? And some people think, oh, that's a bad thing, but it's not. It's the thing that makes it what it is.
Yeah.
Is that the only person you're against is yourself, and that's the good thing about it.
Yeah, definitely.
You can just keep challenging yourself.
Yeah, well, I was always annoyed in football. Like, you have to blame your team, or you've got an annoying person to deal with. But you can't escape yourself, can you? If you can't snatch, that's your problem.
Yep.
Or if you have a bad day, it's your fault.
It's a bad day.
But that's part of the black and whiteness of it.
Yeah. So, in terms of like stories I heard from Jack, was like Callard would ring him up on Saturday morning and say, "Do you want to train today?" And Jack would be like, "No, I'm pretty hungover, or I'm just a bit tired." And then Callard would say, well, I'm outside your house.
Yeah. He done that to us about 3 months ago.
Yeah, he still does it.
There you go.
Just
I love that.
Callard goes.
That's how you get people.
And then
training.
you're absolutely obliged to get your kit on and get out that door.
He's waving through the window at you.
When I was starting off, like in my formative years, he called me up at I think it was about 5:45 in the morning, which is a bit of a lay-in for Andy, and we was down the gym because he had a fob, electronic fob to get in, and we was down the gym squatting at 5:30 in the morning.
Christ.
And you think
my knees hurt thinking about that.
Yeah, and you think that's bad, but I think one of the advantages is that you're done by 9 o'clock, 9:30, and you've got the rest of the day to yourself. But at the time, it was awful.
Christ.
You're training.
Is that when and then you go off to work, would he?
Well, Andy was a bit more. You think that was extreme? He was a little bit more extreme than that when he was training. When I first met him, he was trying to qualify for Manchester 2002. I think it was. Yeah, the Commonwealth Games, and he would get up at about 4 in the morning, go and do his squats and his pulls in the morning.
Yeah.
Go to work for about 7 o'clock, and then work all day, maybe a 9-hour day or something. And then come in and do clean and jerks and assistance exercises or something like that in the evening.
But no snatches.
Twice a day.
No snatches because it's Callum.
Maybe once a week. Because it's Andy. Yeah.
And because snatches warm up for clean and jerk.
That's it. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing everyone says about Europa is like the work ethic is just immense. You know, even from for me, like we look at what's going to make the best person in our culture, right? Because to be frank, British people are quite lazy in terms of like discipline. At least that's what most people are if they don't do weightlifting or they don't do a martial art or something. You know, we just like sleeping or going out late, a bit relaxed about stuff.
Yeah.
But you go to Europa and it's like, even if you might like a heavy drink, even if you like eating KFC, you guys just come in and train hard and do the reps and do the sets. There's no like relaxed part about your training, I don't think.
I think when you compare it to other gyms and stuff, I think that the work ethic is definitely a factor, but I don't think it's a factor that's as important as others might think when they're looking at Europa from the outside.
So what do you think?
I think one of the main things because when you do weightlifting for a number of years, you train in a number of different gyms and you get to figure out what the best gyms are around and everything like that. And I think one thing that might set Europa not completely apart, but definitely make it unique, is the atmosphere. It was a good atmosphere in the old place that we was at before we had to move to this place, but I think that even though this room is smaller, it's actually made everyone have to talk to each other. We're forced to talk to each other, and although that might have been a bit awkward at the start, maybe for like a couple of weeks, it's actually generated a really, really good atmosphere in here. So not only does everyone want to work, everyone is working hard, they want to work hard because the atmosphere is so good. So I mean, if you ask me, I think that the secret to any good gym and to a gym producing any good results or weightlifters is the atmosphere and the attitude that comes out of that.
And people jumping on, sharing bars, doing the same exercise as each other,
moving as fast as possible.
And there is the famous Super Saturday as well.
That's true. We had one guy come down for one Super Saturday and injured his wrist. So I mean,
oh dear.
We're built from a different cut, the old Brunel boys. But I think it's funny you say that because, like, I think that's what Baggio said about weightlifting teams. Creating the best team or the best lifters was all about putting, a bit misogynistic, but men into a room to lift heavy and create that kind of like everyone's always chasing each other or pushing each other kind of thing. And then obviously that therefore creates the hard work, right?
Well, it's good to have, like Em said, it's good to have people sharing bars, and it's also good to have people sharing bars at different standards that are maybe in similar weight classes, because you get these training partner buddy relationships form, and then one pushes the other and vice versa. And it's a result that you can actually see improve yourself, even if you're not consciously doing anything about it. Like, I mean, for example, I went to a training camp in Norway a few years ago, and I trained with a Swedish super heavyweight called Jim Gyllenhammar. Really, really big guy.
Sounds a big guy with that name.
Really strong name. Gyllenhammar. And he was doing all sorts that were complete pipe dreams to me at the time. He was doing power cleans for sets of 3 and 190. He was snatching 170s, like doing jerks with 220 out the blocks, all sorts of things like that. But because I was the only other super there, I was training with him, and my weights were 30, maybe 40 kilos behind. But only after training with him for 4 days, my weights went up. Because you just constantly want to push yourself to get close to that guy. And that's the fun thing about it, isn't it?
I mean, when I train with Jack, he always makes me push myself, but it was a comedy because he's doing like, his best clean and jerk like 180, and mine's down to 145. But it was like just to save the fact that you have to take the big plate off, you would just do 5 or 10 kilos more than you would if you were by yourself. Which is always good. That
is a good thing, and I bet you improved from doing those sessions as well. And the other thing to bear in mind is Jack's best was 145 at one point.
Exactly.
And as we've realised, people's progress does differ. Absolutely.
Well, Andy always says that when you used to train at Brunel, believe it or not, you were arguably a Brunel boy for a short period. We still got your jerk blocks,
my jerk,
which you broke.
Oh yeah, I did break them.
And then they got replaced with the steel. And then we cut the legs off so I can use them. But they're still too tall for me.
Made them DDA compliant.
But so I mean, he says it was great training with just having you there to at least see what someone who trained was like, right? And then obviously he's pretty much been beavering away by himself for a while. Because when I came, it was only Andy and Mike really. There was the 2 new guys that had started, but Andy was by himself for a while. But obviously Roman's come back.
Roman Beachek,
he's come back. He gave us a call the other day, so that'll be fun. I heard loads of stories of him, the crazy stuff they used to do.
Yeah, I'm the one who put him in touch with you.
Oh really? There you go.
Sorry about that.
But I was expecting like a more of a couldn't understand his English or something, but he's got really good English. So it kind of ruined the mystique of this kind of Eastern European man who says like 3 words and that's it.
You say that. The first time I met him was the first time I went down to Brunel, because we met Mike Pearman through Andy, me and my mate Richard, and we turned up to Brunel because we were looking for a place to train, and met this guy. Roman. We walked in, shook Mike's hand. Hello, I'm Mike Pearman. Oh hi, nice to meet you. Blah blah blah. and we just saw this guy with a skinhead with these deep set bloodshot eyes putting the straps on and we counted the weight up quickly, 135. We thought, oh, he must be doing pulls. Set a free snatch straight off the bat without taking the straps off, and then Mike went, oh, this is Roman, sorry he's a bit weak at the moment, he's feeling a bit tired. Bloody hell.
Yeah, he's a master of sport, I think.
Yeah, he is.
Crazy.
He is. I've got some good stories about Roman. He's a really, really nice guy. He's very, very keen to help everyone out as much as possible.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we hope he will come down and help our guys because when we start with beginners, because I'm slightly nicer. I'm not as nice as like Lewis or other coach, but you need a bit more of a slightly more, I don't know, coach with no nonsense for at least for students because they like to mess around. Yeah, Mike doesn't teach our students. They scare him anyway, right? But yeah, it's that kind of thing, And I think someone like that, they're invaluable for a gym to get that atmosphere and get people working hard. I want to ask. So, what were your best lifts? Andy always inflates them, I think.
My best lifts. Less than Andy's, which I never thought I'd hear myself say. No, Andy's a very good lifter actually.
Took him a bit of time though to get past him, wasn't it? He was on the edge for a while.
That is the secret of the super heavyweight. You can't knock it. It's slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah.
Now my best lifts 150, 180. So 150 snatch, 180 clean and jerk. My best.
And did you compete at any like Europeans and Worlds? You must have done.
No, I didn't. The qualifying titles for my body weight class were too high.
But you went to the Commonwealth.
I did a couple of international tournaments in Girona and Comines Girona in Spain and Comines in France. I did the Commonwealth Champs where I got a bronze medal, and I did the Commonwealth Games in Delhi.
Cool. And then was that your last competition?
My last, I did another international tournament after that, but that was the last big one. So a moderately successful career, I'd say.
Yeah.
And I saw a few good places as well.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, like I said, because you were part of that time when the sport was pretty dead. I mean, it's a great time to like be there, and then now see what it's like now. Obviously, like completely different.
Well, by all admissions, the standards were a lot lower, and so there was more of a chance that you could get on these trips as well, which was great for someone who was just coming into the sport. But yeah, it was. There's much better stuff going on now, though. I'd say, yeah, definitely.
Well, it's just having that push, isn't it, really? And now at least you can watch Emily get pretty damn far.
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to see Andy get somewhere as well, and Mr. Rugg. He needs to do a big international thing.
No, because if he was part of your time, it would have been just a different.
Oh, I would have been on his toes.
Yeah, it would have been great. Cool. Well, I think time-wise, it's getting really late at the gym. Some of us need to sleep. But yeah, no, thanks for speaking, guys.
No problem.
We look forward to seeing you in Cyprus, taking care of everyone.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Weightlifting and sun. What more could you actually
Yeah, because we've just got weightlifting and rain right now.
Yeah.
Well, bring your factor 50s.
Sunblock ready.
Thank you.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
Chris.